Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're embarking on, a deep dive into a cinematic experience that didn't just entertain, it really resonated globally. We're talking about the 2007 Hindi film, Taare Zameen Par.
That's right. And we're drawing from a pretty detailed cinematic review,
Yeah.
but our goal here isn't just, a movie review. We want to understand how this specific film became such a cultural touchstone.
Yeah, how it really changed the conversation around learning differences, the role of empathy, especially in education.
Exactly. And why it stuck around, why it still feels so significant today.
Think of this as your shortcut to grasping not just the film itself, but the whole movement it kind of kicked off.
hmm It might seem like just a story about a kid, but it's so much more.
Right.
It really pushed audiences to reconsider how we view children, how we nurture their uniqueness.
So let's get into it.
Okay, so Taare Zameen Par, it translates to like Stars on Earth. Beautiful title. It came out in 2007.
Directed by Aamir Khan, who also produced and starred in it, and the script was by Amoli Gupte.
Key figures, definitely. And the cast. Darsheel Safary as Ishaan, the young boy. He's just unforgettable.
Absolutely. And Aamir Khan playing the teacher, Nikum. Plus Tiska Chopra and Bipin Sharma as the parents.
Right, playing those complex parental roles. It's technically a Hindi language drama, a family film, but its real contribution, I think, was how it tackled the whole emotional and psychological journey of a child with dyslexia.
Yeah, with a depth and sensitivity that felt quite new, certainly for mainstream Indian cinema at the time.
Totally. So the story centers on Ishaan Awasthi. He's 8 years old.
And right from the start, you see his struggle. He's failing in school. Everyone thinks he's lazy, daydreaming, not paying attention.
He gets branded, basically. But what gets missed, and this is crucial, is his incredible inner life, his imagination, his talent for art.
That just gets completely overlooked because of the academic pressure, right?
Exactly. And it escalates. The school complains repeatedly, and his parents, feeling, desperate,
They make that difficult decision,
they send him off to boarding school, thinking perhaps that the discipline there will sort him out.
which of course has the opposite effect.
Oh, completely. He just shuts down and becomes silent, withdrawn, loses interest in everything, even painting, which was his one real joy.
It's actually heartbreaking to watch that decline.
It really is.
Yeah.
But then comes the turning point, the catalyst.
Ram Shankar Nikum, the new art teacher, played by Aamir Khan.
And Nikovs sees something different. He looks past the bad student label and recognizes the signs of dyslexia.
It's more than just recognition, though, isn't it? It's how he approaches it.
Absolutely. It's through empathy, through creativity, finding different ways to teach. He helps Ishaan tackle the dyslexia, sure, but maybe even more importantly,
He helps him rebuild his confidence.
yes, rebuild his self-esteem, find that love for learning, for painting again. It's a powerful transformation.
And the film uses this story to explore some really deep themes. Let's start with dyslexia itself.
Okay. The portrayal was widely praised for being accurate and sensitive. It really demystified dyslexia for a huge audience in India, maybe even globally.
Bringing it out of the shadows, so to speak.
Right. And in doing that, it threw down a challenge to the very rigid one-size-fits-all approach you often see in education systems.
It makes you question that rigidity, doesn't it? How many other Ishans are out there maybe just needing a different approach?
Precisely. What does it mean for how we structure education everywhere? Are we potentially missing or even crushing talent because it doesn't fit this standard mold?
And it's not just the system. The film also digs into parental pressure.
Yes. Ishan's parents. They're not villains. They represent something very common. Parents who want the best, but their expectations, their lack of understanding.
It ends up being quite harmful to his mental health.
Terribly harmful. And it's so relatable, that dynamic. Families everywhere could probably see echoes of their own experiences.
Which brings us to the role of the teacher, and Nikum specifically.
Yeah, the importance of empathy in education. Nikum embodies this idea that a teacher isn't just an instructor. They could be a guide, a healer.
A nurturer.
Exactly. It really highlights the massive impact one empathetic teacher can have. It's not just about teaching facts. It's about seeing the whole child.
And that connects to another theme, that tension between creativity and conformity.
Right. Ishan's art is his strength, his unique way of seeing the world. But the system only values academic scores.
So his talent is almost seen as a distraction or irrelevant.
Or worse, something to be suppressed so he can focus on real subjects. It makes you ask, how do we balance structured learning with actually nurturing individual sparks of genius.
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do systems, especially big ones, make space for that individuality?
It's tough. The film doesn't offer easy answers, I don't think, but it strongly suggests that suppressing that spark is a huge loss. Nickum's approach is kind of a model, perhaps, for how it could work on a smaller scale.
Let's talk about the performances, because they are central to this. Darsheel Safary is as Ishaan.
Oh, just incredible. He is the heart of the film. It feels so natural, so expressive. You really feel his pain, his confusion, his eventual breakthrough.
It's astonishingly authentic for such a young actor.
Truly. And Aamir Khan as Nikkum, he brings this warmth and compassion. It's understated in a way, which is important.
How so?
Well, it keeps the focus on Ishaan. Nikkum is the catalyst, the helper, but it's still Ishaan's story. Khan doesn't overpower it.
That's a good point. And the parents, Vipin Sharma and Tiska Chopra.
They bring such realism.
Yeah.
You see their intentions, their frustrations, their flaws. It's not cartoonish. It feels very grounded in real-life pressures and misunderstandings.
And behind the camera, Aamir Khan's direction for a debut was remarkably assured.
Yeah, very much so. That decision you mentioned earlier to spend almost the whole first half just immersed in Ishaan's world, seeing things from his perspective.
Without much explanation, letting the visuals tell the story.
It was bold and so effective. It really builds empathy before Nikkum even arrives.
Mm-hmm.
And Amol Gupta's screenplay, just beautifully written.
Layered, poignant. It balances the sadness with moments of humor and ultimately hope.
Definitely. And the music. Shankar Ehsan Loy. It wasn't just background noise.
No, it was integral. The song Ma, for instance.
Oh, gut-wrenching. It captures Aishan's loneliness, his longing for his mother after being sent away. It's so powerful.
And other tracks, too, like Kolo Kolo or the title song, Taare Zameen Par, they really uplift the themes.
Yeah, the title track especially becomes this beautiful anthem for celebrating every child's uniqueness. It perfectly mirrors the film's message.
We should also touch on the visuals, the cinematography.
Yes. The way they used animation, visual effects to show Yeshin's imagination, but also his struggles with letters and numbers.
It makes his internal experience visible, tangible.
Exactly. You see the letters swimming, dancing, attacking him almost.
Yeah.
It helps you understand why reading is so difficult and frightening for him. And the use of color, close-ups,
Yeah.
it all adds to that emotional depth.
So, moving beyond the craft, let's talk about the impact. This film wasn't just watched, it did something.
Oh, absolutely. Its social impact in India was huge. It genuinely started a national conversation about learning disabilities like dyslexia, about the need for changes in the education system.
And about just paying attention to the emotional well-being of kids under pressure.
Right. Anecdotally, you heard about schools changing methods, parents rethinking their approaches. It had a real-world effect.
And critically, how is it received?
Universally acclaimed, pretty much. Critics loved it. Audiences loved it. It swept awards.
National awards, Filmfare awards.
Yep. Best film on family welfare, best lyrics at the national awards. And Darsheel Safary got that Filmfare nomination for Best Actor, which is amazing for a child actor in such a demanding role.
So the source we looked at gave it a top rating, right? 5 out of 5.
It did, calling it a masterpiece and arguing that it goes beyond just being entertainment. It's emotionally powerful, intellectually honest, and really socially relevant.
It urges us to see kids not just as, empty vessels to pour knowledge into.
But as stars, like the title says, each one unique, each one shining in their own way.
So wrapping this up, our deep dive really highlights that message, doesn't it? That beneath academic struggles, there's often this brilliant, unique mind just waiting for someone to understand, to connect.
That core idea, har bacha special hota hai. Every child is special. It resonates so strongly throughout the film.
And there's that other line, too, about tears blurring vision.
Yeah, yes. Ja ankan mein ansun hosen tab dikhai nahi deta. When there are tears in the eyes, nothing can be seen clearly.
Which works on multiple levels, I think. The child's own distress blinding them, but also our own emotional reactions or maybe our prejudices blinding us to their potential.
Exactly. It's about the emotional barriers on both sides that can obscure the truth of who a child is and what they're capable of.
So thinking about all this, what really stands out to you from our dive today? And maybe how could a film like this challenge your own assumptions about intelligence maybe, or what success looks like?
And building on that, how can we all, in our own lives, get better at spotting those unique stars around us, whether it's kids or maybe even adults?
Yeah, how do we make sure their light isn't obscured? How do we help them be seen clearly? It's something to definitely think about.